as I said. What up, Tim? Just so we're all can see, this is a gallery sit canvas. I hope the size is on here, but I think it says like, where is it? 24 by 36. Yeah. Gallery canvas, 24 by 36. Gallery canvas. The artist canvas. And I'm going to do some experimenting. I'm just going to back this up a little bit because I like that song. So I'm probably going to kill the noise on this here. Oh, I realized, like, hi, you guys can't see me over there. Hi. But, yeah, I'm going to sit here in this chair here, and I'm about to have some fun. So, yeah, expect for the noise to be killed, and go from there. Peace. So, what I have here, like I said, I have a large canvas and I'm just doing some experimenting on it. Welcome back to the channel. So nice to have you all here today. I want to give a special thank you shout out to the band Twiddle for providing the soundtrack for my painting here. You're not hearing them right now because I just don't feel like having YouTube give me the sort of copyright strike for that. So their sound should be muted, but my sound should be coming through here at least. This is why I had the little pause session right there just before. And yeah, so I just made a couple of marks here on the canvas just with a little bit of chalk. Just to kind of open it up a little bit, get some ideas of where I wanted to start putting some things. This is sped up like a super speed. And I think I just started with like some red, and I just start putting the colors just straight up on the canvas. I have been watching some tutorials just on doing abstract paintings. A lot of it had like the asemic writing tutorials and mixed media collages. Just how to throw paint aimlessly, I guess, was kind of the thing. So I've been watching a bit of that before starting this here. And, really with everything that you watch as far as tutorials go, a lot of times you watch it and you're like, oh, I can do that. And then you go try it and it's like, oh, it turns out totally different. Which, I was kind of happy with, the fact that this did turn out totally different. Very happy with that, actually, because it gave me just an afternoon and ideas just to express, really, a bit of, me, a bit of happiness, a bit of joy that I had been experiencing at that time there, just having a bit of a break, actually. This, I believe I recorded in June. Yeah, this was in June. This was right at the beginning of summer. Just wrapped up the session of school there that I've been substituting. And, it was a lot of just work as far as getting the kids through that year. I basically wanted to do the year kind of as a way to give back. One of the things that I can remember, because I don't watch a lot of news these days, but one of the things I do remember from a newscast watching was just hearing how you had a shortage of teachers in areas. That's a text message. The shortage of teachers in areas. In fact, with one of the stories I remember seeing, they were sending National Guard troops in for the students to teach them the classes. And, I'm not a gun person, so I'm not going to go out and join the Army or National Guard even. But, I will go and, do my part. So I felt this would be a good way to do my part there. So that little experiment, I tried to actually just use a sponge in that area, and it did not really work the way I wanted it to. So I took a little bit of purple, scraped it up on top, actually had some marks with that, and kind of like that, just some more brushwork in it, just trying to get the background. I'm really working on my background color in this area here. I'm wanting to get to the point where I can start adding in some other colors, but this is more background work of what I'm doing here in this section, just trying to get a good base for it. And even the background comes out totally different. This is right in the living room. I do a lot of my painting right in the living room, especially these days here.
I did have a spare bedroom that I was using for some time last year, for a couple of months for some painting, just some of the big paintings that you might have seen there. Without having the spare bedroom, I can't really do the supersized ones, but this was a large enough size and I was able to actually just put it on the easel. I don't get to use the easel as much as I really would like to. For a while, actually, the easel was only getting brought out for art shows. And it's like, hey, you should probably try actually painting with it. Yeah. So I think in this area, I'm just kind of grabbing some colors and putting them in different spots on the canvas. Just trying to make some different, outlines and designs, really. Not really wanting to mix the colors in, blend the colors in a little bit, but just getting more life into that there. And yeah, this is a bit of me dancing around to the music as I add different things. You can see the smiley face that I added in here. Just because, it's like, all right, let's just experiment. What happens if we make a face out of, some of the colors here and then start to move them around? So I'd have to go back and look at the colors, really. These are all straight out of the tube. So, your fatal bleeds, your fatal blues, your dioxazine purples, cerulean reds, your, titanium whites, all of that. Your raw umbers, burnt umbers, your, every single color just straight out of the, containers there, yellows, everything, canary yellows. And yeah, like I said, I'm just using them straight out of the buckets there, straight out of the bottles, straight out of the tubes. Just a lot of these, just putting them right onto the surface to see what happens with them. I still see a little bit of the face there, which is actually like really cool to say. But, as I continue going on with this, I'm just basically adding colors in and kind of, as the music continues, I add in colors here. This painting actually took me roughly 2 hours to make, with everything. And I have the hair dryer out in some sections, as you can see here. Trying to dry it up a little bit. I actually, it's a paint pouring technique. I'm trying to blow some of the paint around with a straw. And I'm having to run to the kitchen and wash my hands a couple times, I did make a point of, washing the dishes up before starting to paint there. I'm trying to remember what I had for dinner that day. Might have just been a pizza later, but yeah, I did make a point of just trying to get some of the paints in areas. As I was just listening to the music, just allowing that to kind of flow through me. And, at certain points, it seems like I'm at the concert. It seems like, people at the concert, people enjoying the concert, enjoying the different songs there. This here, I'm trying actually some of my pour paints, I think, just because I know that they have a more dripple consistency. Triple, making up more words. But, I can get kind of that dripping sort of effect out of these pour paints here just because they are a bit thinner than your standard tube paints. So I'm adding some of these in just to let them kind of come down and see if I can get a different effect out of this here. Just to see what happens, really. A lot of this, like I said, is experimenting. So I'm doing a lot of experiment work as far as, just seeing what I can get out of this. And looking at this here, I'm really excited for it. I'm remembering how the piece came out and kind of thinking to myself, hey, when am I going to have another free day to experiment like this again? Now, here, I took a cup and decided to make little circles with some of that drip that was coming in and some of the other paints also. And you can see where the circles from the, it's like a plastic cup there, a plastic bowl, actually from an acai bowl, I think it was, a plastic bowl that I used. But you can see where those circles kind of made a little bit of effect on there. I think this is brush here. I'm trying to think, I think for a little bit I did use a palette knife, but there's a brush there. I do like how that circled out there as far as moving the colors. I'm trying to remember if I did that again, but it's definitely something, as I was just saying here, looking at this, I definitely want to try this again. I have another canvas this size, and, since this didn't take a lot of time, and, I do have some time left here, I may actually experiment with again, find another spot for the camera to go, because that becomes a big thing, is figuring out where exactly is the camera going to go when I'm doing these paintings here. I think I'm starting to add in some of my glow colors at this point. Glow in the dark paint is really important for me. I'm a real big person on finding light in the darkness. And there's a lot of different reasons for this. You could put it back towards my upbringing and just getting through a bit of that sort of childhood. I don't even want to call it trauma, because I lived a pretty happy-ish childhood life, all things considered, but just some of the things that we dealt with as kids. I dealt with a good amount of bullying from a lot of people, some of which of my own race. It's weird when you're black but you're not super black. So yeah, a bit of bullying with that. We were a poor family, so there was some lack that went on. There's of course the racism of just being black and being poor, has its own little stigma to it. Christianity, which, it brings out another purpose of my Light in the Dark series, but Christianity has its own bit of trauma. I've grown up with a very Christian home, and, though that's a very good thing, and I still have a belief in God to this day, it can be at times a bit, how would I describe it? It's kind of like a bad relationship, where, you're beaten, but you still love the person. Yeah. This is, in some ways, with some churches here, with some, aspects of church life, the human form that we have here, especially in America, our view of Christianity, I don't really find lines up with the Bible. So, you have a lot of people who will damn you to hell for sins that they probably are still committing themselves. And, it just doesn't really fit well with me. But even with that being said, it becomes a thing, to kind of get past. So yeah, just a bit of that, and, adult life, whatever, kind of leads me into this idea of wanting to paint more. And as you can see, I'm moving the canvas around, turning the canvas as I start to see different things, just as a way to kind of express a bit more, and like I said, getting through, a bit of the trauma of the past, a bit of traumas of the present. I don't even want to go through all the list, but there's a lot that I've went through in my adult life that has left me kind of scarred, and finding ways past that. And even as I, make the mention of religion and Christianity and all that, the Bible does talk about, being a light in darkness, and Christ being a source of light for the world. So, finding that, especially in my adult life, to, go back and retouch into that there, does pull into this a bit. A lot of the work that I do is really spiritual in nature. I do a lot of this stuff on Sundays. It becomes kind of like my time to communicate with God in a sense. So, though I think this might have been a Monday or a Tuesday painting, but yeah, a lot of the work I do is on Sundays. So here's the piece here done, which is a little bit kind of weird to put it like this, because I will normally turn it right side up. In fact, I might see if I can sneak a picture of it right side up in once I'm done with this here. But I just wanted to put this in because I wanted to zoom in on some parts just so you can get an idea of where everything's at, especially once it's done. I think we're going to start zooming here. Yeah, I think I did like a slow zoom on this. Maybe that's what I was doing. Maybe that's why it's going so. But I wanted to, give you a little looks at some of the different marks and adorations and stuff, just so you have an idea of what you're looking at. A lot of just what comes through in the canvas, the different scratches and marks and stuff and points. And, it's really cool for me to be able to share it in this way so that people can see, okay, well, he put these parts here and that there, and this is what this looks like. And, it's a lot of detail, a lot of layers to this here. A lot of layers to these paintings, as per se. If you remember seeing like a really blue and red background, now you're seeing a lot of green here. Well, that's why. And here's where I start to look at it in the blacklight. I actually had to come back later that evening because, you know, I did this middle of the day, so I came back later in the evening to do some of my blacklight zooms here. I think I actually do 2 passes on the blacklight just so that you guys can see everything that's going on with the painting here. And, you know, just get a nice little look at everything that's there. It's a really cool painting. Did I put a name on this? I'll have to look at the back of it before I post it and see if there is a name to the piece. And if not, then maybe that's the thing. I put it up and I say, hey, name my piece. And let you guys kind of come up with something for me here. I've done that a few times, actually, where... Oh, that looks like a head right there. But I've done that a few times, especially with the boards, where I'll put them online and be like, hey, you know, help me name this piece. And, you know, the folks out there have been very wonderful with coming up with these names. Just, you know, and I really can't thank you guys enough. You know, I have some really supportive folks out there, family, friends, co-workers, ex-co-workers, etc. You know, everyone's just been really chill. Other artists that I've met, you know, with tips and encouragement, and just, you know, everything's like really cool. So it's really good, you know, and it's really helpful for me in this respect. And, you know, I can't thank you guys enough for that. So yeah, I think this is the part right here where I'm going to just edit in the photo of the piece, kind of right side up, so you kind of see how it looks dry, right side up, you know, how I display it. It's not going to match the format here because I shot all this at widescreen, but, you know, it's just what happens. And yeah, I'm going to say to everyone, you know, come back, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Check out thesocialartguide.com for more. Click on another video, give it a watch. I'll try to keep them as short and brief and quick as possible. And yeah, until next time, much love to everyone and deuces. Peace out, Girl Scouts. We'll just let the music ride.